This is how this cult works. You've got a pyramid, and at the top are the inner circle of the cult that are driving this globally. As you come down from the pyramid peak, you're meeting more and more and more people, but each step down know less and less and less of what they know. Because the only way that a few can manipulate the world as they do is by fierce compartmentalization, where people only know what they need to know to make their contribution without knowing how their contribution connects with their contribution and theirs and theirs and theirs to create a very different picture to what they think they're actually part of. What's this great line? In and after every tyranny, I was only following orders. I pointed out that was a tremendously greater power of electromagnetic energy and immensely more powerful than everything we've seen before. Now, the human body is an electromagnetic field. The brain communicates with the rest of the body and the cells electrically. It processes thought information electrically. We are on one level electromagnetic organisms, entities. When that electromagnetic field is in balance, we are healthy. When it is in imbalance or disharmony, we get dis-ease, disease, disharmony, which manifests as what we call physical disease and psychological disease through the way the processing of information by the brain is affected.
Has it had any independent testing?
None. The only independent testing it's had, which has been by truly independent people outside of the telecommunications industry, you've seen people say this could be disastrous for human health, and they've called for it to be stopped. Doctors, scientists from 41 countries have signed letters saying this has got to be stopped. Of course it wasn't stopped. And the reason that it's been rolled out without testing, which they've admitted on Capitol Hill, a senator asked the members of the telecommunications industry, this was last year, how much testing have you done? How much money have you spent on testing the effect of on human health? And they said 0. Reason that is because if they had, and that had been publicly published, would never have been allowed.
In December of 2018, I sent a letter to FCC Commissioner Carr asking him to cite for me recent scientific studies demonstrating the safety of this technology. What research has been done, where has it been published and compiled. He has essentially failed to do so. I believe that Americans deserve to know what the health effects are. My question for you, particularly Mr. Gillen and Mr. Berry, how much money has the industry committed to supporting additional independent research? I stress independent research. Is that independent research ongoing? Has any been completed? Where can consumers look for it? And we're talking about research on the biological effects of this new technology.
Thank you, Senator. I think, thank you for your focus on the issue. Safety is paramount, and as you alluded to, we rely on the expert agencies, we rely on the findings of the FDA and others as to the requirements to keep all of us safe. There are no industry-backed studies, to my knowledge, right now.
So essentially, the answer to my question, how much money? 0.
I can certainly follow up with you, Senator. To my knowledge, there's no active studies being backed by industry today.
What does do? What does 4G do, but even more? It poisons the cells, which get poisoned by technological electromagnetic fields.
This is a time where everything is supposed to be stopped.
Yeah.
And they're still building towers overnight.
Yes. because that's considered essential work. And to the cult, it is essential because they want everywhere. At the same time that this is happening in terms of towers all over the world being rolled out, and of course people are not able to protest because they are isolated from each other and under house arrest. That's why they're doing it. Elon Musk, he knows what this impact is going to be. He is putting, week by week, more and more satellites at low altitudes, beaming the Earth, and he has permission for like tens of thousands already, and he's just getting towards that goal. What he wants is 42,000. While this lockdown has been on, he has been given permission by the Federal Communications Commission, which allowed the rollout of without testing because it's owned by the cult. He's been given permission for 1 million ground antenna in America, which will, through electromagnetic fields, connect with the satellites. They are creating a technological sub-reality of what they call the smart grid, surrounding the world with satellites and pouring this stuff in, because they're creating a sub-reality to which the human mind will be connected to via AI, and they're even giving you a time when this should start to happen in a serious way, 2030, a year that keeps coming up for everything. This is admitted by the telecommunications industry. At 60 gigahertz, which is where they want to take it, stops the human body and blood absorbing oxygen. The more that they expand, the more is going to impact upon the population's health. And the more it impacts upon the population's health, the more they can say it's caused by. And if they start firing out at 60 gigahertz, they're going to have a lot of people who are going to keel over because they can't absorb oxygen. None of this is by accident. It's all by design. There is a long planned agenda for humanity leading to total and utter control through AI and control of the human mind and perception. And it's going step by step by step by step. You go in steps, and each step is promoted as unconnected to the other steps until you get down the line. You look back and you see where all the apparently but not unconnected steps have taken you in a very clear and obvious direction. If continues and reaches where they want to take it, human life as we'd known it is over. You go and look at your children and your grandchildren in the eye, and you justify to them you doing nothing. Because if you think it's bad for you, just have some imagination and see the world of total, utter control, dystopia, that your children and your grandchildren are going to live in. We are at a pivotal point in the history of the human race, literally. Because there will be no human race as we know it if we don't get our arses in gear now, worldwide. A few people can't control the world, that's ridiculous. They've got half the frickin' world locked down under house arrest, tiny few people, in a matter of weeks. I say this to law enforcement, you know. There are a lot of intelligent, genuine, decent people in law enforcement. Your children and your grandchildren are going to have to live in the world you are enforcing. You're enforcing laws not to protect the public, but to protect and enforce the will of a cult that makes psychopaths look like Mother Teresa. How long are we going to take it? when we realize the true nature of what we are, which is consciousness, eternal, exploring forever consciousness, having a brief experience called human, and we tap into that infinite creativity, power, and open our hearts. And when you open your heart, it's not just to love, not I love you, darling, saw you down the disco love. I mean real love in its infinite, unconditional sense. What you're doing is you're tapping in to a level of consciousness that does not have something which is the very foundation of human control. It does not have fear. What is there to fear? Nothing. And when you lose fear, you do what you know to be right. This cult is terrified of that. It's terrified of fearless people because fear is its currency of control. And their biggest fear, because it's over then, is humanity awakening to what the frickin' hell is really going on and who is really in control.